All right, here's Anthony, and we're going to go over what you found today. So,
Okay.
What'd you find today, Anthony?
Well, hi, John. I'm Anthony with Sherlock Holmes Property Inspections. I'll give you a quick rundown of our findings. You're going to be getting the report shortly. So on the report, two different icons. You're going to see a blue bar, and that's going to signify any just general maintenance, just general information on the property. So you're going to have photos of every room, below every sink, aerial shots from the drone. You're going to have photos from below the property as well. Then you're going to see an orange bar, and that's going to identify any defects we found. Not much going on here. I mean, this property is in near mint condition. For its age, I've never seen one this nice. I don't want to pump it too much, but it's the truth. It is gorgeous. Just jumping right in so we don't have a 30-minute video. Right off the bat, we have some cracks in the exterior walkways and driveway. Very, very common. That's original. So you're going to get that. Not anything that was, even a tripping hazard. That's what we're really looking for, safety issues. Everything looked good. There is a hose bib at the front of the property. It's the actual southwest corner. It's an actual irrigation hose bib that you'll see out in the planter bed. It has a super slow leak or drip coming out of the threads, and what it's done is it's caused some algae sitting at the base of the pipe. Pretty simple fix there.
Is that probably just a washer that's in there?
Well, if anything, it's the worst case. You change the bib. It's threaded. So
Okay.
You just shut the water off, spin it off, and put a new one down.
Okay.
No issues with the garage because it's a carport. We don't have any problems there. As far as the roof, we don't walk on these lightweight roofs. It's what they have is an aluminum type steel, or I'm not sure the exact makeup of the metal roof. Then they coat it with a cool coating or almost like an epoxy resin. Very, very common. They've done some repairs over the years. It looks to be in really good condition. There's a couple areas on the back where you can see that there's some wear, but it looks pretty solid. I always recommend, especially with these, just to have a tune-up. They call them a roof tune-up. They come out here and they'll ensure all the penetrations are sealed because you don't have a true composition style roof here. But they look like they've done some repairs over the years.
So is that something we're talking about for maintenance?
Yeah, just general maintenance.
Okay.
Every couple of years, I would do it right off the, just for myself, knowing, hey, another set of eyes to get up there. These guys, they have people that specialize just in these types of properties, these manufactured homes, and they know where all the, access points are, just so you don't run into any issues. I use the thermal imager to look to see if we have any moisture. There's nothing here, but unfortunately we haven't had rain in quite some time, but you would see stains in the drywall, and I don't see any issues whatsoever. There were two vents on the roof that, and you'll see, normally the roof has, the vent comes through, extends above the roof line. It has a boot around that vent, and then it's sealed. These vents appear to have shrunk a little bit. It happens with plumbing, and they're below the boot. So what I would recommend is it could be proper, and they could have sealed that over the years, but I can't see with the drone. I mean, I did my best. You can't see inside of it. So worst case, like I said, general roof maintenance, they will look at that and say, hey, we need to seal this up, or hey, it's fine, you don't have to worry about it. I just don't want water to sit in this cup up there to possibly get into the property.
Okay.
Crawl space looks great.
Below.
What's that? I'm sorry?
Below
the property.
Okay.
So yeah, we're going from the top to the bottom. You'll see a bunch of images. I have a little radio controlled tracked vehicle with lights and a camera that goes underneath the property, just because the clearance it's quite small. I'm a bigger guy, so we don't get underneath these, but you'll see quite a few images. I didn't see any pest droppings. I didn't see any moisture. You still have tires on this property, actually. It's pretty neat to see from 40 years ago. But they've really nice big plus here. All the plumbing's been replaced. You'll see the blue and red lines. Those are actually it's called PEX plumbing. It's the latest and greatest plumbing. Obviously blue is cold and the red is hot. The drains have been replaced as well with ABS plumbing. They've removed the cast iron, so that's terrific. Jumping to the exterior of the property. So we have the electrical side. Right below you have, well, let me just step back. The heating and air conditioning system on this property, you have central heating and air, which is standard. And then you have the evaporators, or swamp coolers, people like to call them, the big boxes on the outside of the house. One in the rear, I guess, primary bedroom, and then you have one here in the main living space, this one here.
Oh,
so while we're looking at this, Mark's pointing over here, there is a thermostat. When I turn this one on, I can hear the pump that runs the water, but the fan is not kicking on. Now, the back evaporator works great, no problems. Covered me with some dust.
It's full of dust, needs to be cleaned, but other than that, yeah.
But it's just because it sits. Now, It's completely up to you. What, as far as the central heating and air, I mean, it was installed in 2020. I don't know if you would ever even use these, to be honest with you. I mean, you have what you would need. It's a 4-ton unit. It works great. I think it was putting down into the 40s on the temperature split. So it worked extremely well. But jumping back, there's some exposed wiring on the outside of this unit sitting down below. It's just the conduit, how it's connected. They used Romex wiring, which is a sealed wire that within conduit, and it should be single strand wire. It's just being technical, but an electrician can say, all right, we can just change this out really quickly if you plan on even using these. If you don't, hey, I'm just here to tell you this is what's right and wrong. The main electrical panel sits back by the little shed. There's a small little access in there. You'll see your gas meter there. You'll see your main shutoff for the power, and it actually has plugs that actually plug into the unit. It's kind of, it's just the way that they did it. We have carbon monoxide detector and smoke detectors throughout the house, which we need to have. And then you have a sub panel in the back area as well, and you'll see photos of that in the laundry.
And a sub panel would just have on and off switches for things in the house.
That's for the property, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, everything inside, and all those circuits are labeled. Water heater was replaced back in 2019, or was manufactured. It's a 40-gallon. It's strapped. It's in, and you'll see photos of that. The only thing I wrote up is it should have what is called a SMIDI pan. It's a pan that sits underneath the water heater. I bet you the issue was they couldn't get one in there just because of the sheer size. There's not much room in these little cabinets. So that's probably why they didn't install it, because a plumber installed it a year ago and they would have had to do that. We've talked about the furnace. We've talked about the AC. We've talked about the evaporators. As far as the kitchen, everything here in the kitchen space is functional. My biggest concern of the entire property is here in the kitchen, and it's a super simple fix. The garbage disposal connects to the base. It's a flange that connects to the sink. Well, there's a gasket that sits underneath there, and it looks like the gasket has failed. So we're getting a leak between the flange and the top of the garbage disposal. Obviously, we don't want to have moisture intrusion below your sink. So that's a super simple fix by a plumber. They'll spin that off, put a new one down. Worst case, they replace the garbage disposal. But that's what I'm seeing so far. Laundry space, no issues whatsoever. I did make an issue just with the access door that leads to the interior and exterior, obviously, from the laundry. It's hitting the jamb a little bit, so you'll see a picture of that. Just sticking a little bit.
So that's no big deal. It closes. It's not a problem.
Yeah, it just hits the top, and you may be able to tighten up that upper hinge. I was just being.
This is you finding something.
Well, no, I mean seriously, this home is that clean. I mean, I do a lot of these manufactured homes, and I mean, like I said, I don't want to boost it too much, but hands down, this is the nicest one I've ever seen. Hands down. So just jumping into the bathrooms. My whole philosophy behind today is if it's going to break, I want to break it today. I know that sounds bad, but that's the goal. Is I don't want you to have a surprise. So we're really stressing the systems, running, the plumbing, everything through multiple times, tub, shower, sinks at the same time. The only thing that I did find was the primary bathroom, the window. It was just difficult to open and close. Probably the track needs to be cleaned out a little bit.
Okay.
And then the other bathroom, the shower pan, a little bit of the grout is missing. It's just kind of deteriorated. It's not even deteriorated. I think just when they put it in, they kind of got, they just took a little bit too much out when they were kind of sponging, and that's pretty easy to repair. You're going to have photos of every room of the property as well, so you'll know exactly what we're talking about and see the state that it's in today. And everything else for me, on the interior, it looks brand spanking new. The exterior, it has a little bit of age, but not much. Some of the skirting, and that's the outside aluminum, you'll see some dings and dents. I don't make mention of that because I understand, hey, this is over 40 years old. But windows have been replaced, doors have been replaced, HVAC system, bathrooms. I mean, it's that nice. So,
John had some questions about insulation.
Yes, I know we were talking. Okay,
so
so as far as insulation and the rating here, it's really difficult, and I'll explain why. Even though we do have registers and airflow above, it appears that there would be an access for an attic. There is not. They had to make these, and then, that's why originally this was all paneling. They've taken it off, they've added things. So I would assume that there is insulation throughout. It's holding temperature. I mean, we're freezing in here right now because I forgot to turn the air off and it was down into the 40s. But with its age, these they usually have some type of an insulation in the exterior. I just can't physically tell you exactly what you have. Now you may be able to look it up and find out, you know, what did they do when they did some of this the work, but I physically can't see it, so I don't want to speculate what's here. I don't know if that answers.
Yeah. I mean, you just can't see it, so that's fine.
I just can't see it, so I can't make mention of it. You know, but it is normal. I know, like, this didn't have can lights. It didn't have fans. You know, so they had to open this up to do this work, and hopefully they did add some insulation. But it's, you could always add, you know, I know you deal with a lot of the homes that have the metal roofs or the flat roofs, you know, and they put those different coatings on top to help with that insulating factor. So there's other things if you're concerned about that. And there's people that, you know, they can even drill small holes with cameras and things, and maybe even like a closet to see what's going on above.
So another question for you is, and you can say you have no idea, but if you wanted to add solar, would this roof be okay with supporting that, or how does that work?
You know, solar's not that heavy, to be honest with you. I mean, people will say, oh, you have to have this. It's more or less because of the sheer, like, roofs are rated off of, you know, the sheer walls and how everything's connected. I don't think it would be a problem. I have personally seen solar on manufactured homes, but that would be something to reach out to a solar company, and, you know, they'll tell you right off the bat, because they can look very easily with, you know, they'll use satellite imagery, and they'll just say, okay, I know that type of roof. We can, you know, this is how many panels we can put on. And there's ways to do it as well, even if it doesn't go, say it'll go on top, but they can put supports that extend over the side, or make some type of bracket, paint it real nice, and it, you know, it'll be able to hold itself.
Okay.
So I know I'm kind of skirting the question, but it
was something John had asked when we were together,
sure.
so I just thought I'd see what you thought about it.
Absolutely, but I have seen it. I have seen it. Now, I didn't look in this park just because as soon as I got the drone up in the air, you know, it allowed me to do it, but, you know, you have some aircraft in the area, so I didn't go too high.
What?
But as far as that, everything else here, and I'll just reiterate, it's a near mint condition. For the structure, I mean, obviously it does have the age of, I believe it's in the 70s of some sort, but I mean, everything inside has been replaced. I mean, every light switch, every receptacle, you know, it's fairly, I mean, it's mint. So please, my information is going to be all over the report. If you have any questions, concerns, reach out. But yeah, thanks again.
Okay. Thanks, Anthony.